Good afternoon, everyone. It's Natalie Bangon, also known as Mother Goose, with my video of the day. So, today I wanted to do a video regarding interaction between a husband and wife, man and woman, and what happens when you get married and there are certain interactions that you repeat or you do based on what you saw growing up or did not see, and how do we deal with that? So, the number one factor is that just because you did not see a healthy relationship between your parents does not make it okay for you to repeat what did not see. So, part of it is educating yourself, learning about it, reading about it, understanding it. There's certain social skills, social manners. That's the acceptable standard of things. So, one thing we have to understand is unless we educate ourselves, just like any foreign language you practice, you will just repeat your mother tongue language. It's not just the language that you will repeat, it's also the emotional interaction unless you educate yourself otherwise. What do I mean by that? Let's say if you were brought up in a home where your parents when they disagreed with each other, they yelled or they shut the door or they walked out or they threw something. So in your mindset, that becomes the acceptable way to deal with things when you are frustrated, unless you either get educated, you see people at other people's home acting differently, you learn, you read. If you have no other exposure, you will continue to repeat what you have seen, just like the language you speak. So, just because you saw something at home, do not assume that's the normal way of doing things. And saying, well, this is all I know is not good enough of an answer either. Certain behaviors, such as proper greetings when you wake up in the morning, having proper eye contact, gratitude, saying thank you, expressing appreciation, expressing disappointment in a proper way, conflict resolution when you disagree on a topic, resolving it in a proper format, having respect for each other, having compassion for each other. These things are not anything extra. These are essential part of a healthy relationship. And again, if you did not see it between your parents, it does not make it okay for you not to offer it in your own relationship. But if you did not see it between your parents, you need to learn how to offer that in a healthy relationship. Respect is a must, appreciation is a must, affection, acknowledgement is a must. This is part of what the plant of relationship needs. Just like a plant needs water, these factors are essential in a relationship. So it does not matter how intellectual the person is, how scholarly they are, how well they know how to teach a class or offer a class. The emotional component is very different than the intellectual component. Many people think because this person is intellectual, therefore the emotional part must be very high, but it doesn't work like that. Sometimes you could be very high intellectually in your IQ, but emotional intelligence can be very low. And emotional intelligence is something that you have to learn. You're not just born with it. So, emotional intelligence of being able to read facial expressions, knowing that this is angry, this is sad, this is happy. When I'm having a conversation with you, and now we have the whole problem with Botox because you don't even know what people are feeling anymore with what they're doing with the Botox and stuff. Anyway, that's a whole other factor that we're not going to get into. But in a regular conversation, people have different facial reactions to how the conversations are going. So you know whether it's going smoothly or not. So these are all part of emotional intelligence. And that's why I always tell people when your children bother each other, instead of immediately saying, say sorry, you got to say, look, I want you to look at her face. Do you see how she appears after you did that? What do you think her face is telling us? To get them to create that empathy within them of what their actions did. So, when you are in a relationship where you constantly are not behaving right, you're blaming the other person for your behavior, you're not creating a space for the other person to come in, you're not expressing any gratitude, you're just demanding, blaming, and putting down. this is all lack of emotional intelligence. And as people are in a relationship, the more you don't pay attention to this, your children's emotional intelligence will even go lower than where you were. So part of enhancing the emotional intelligence is having awareness, talking about it, expressing it, understanding it, and putting it standard and boundary for ourselves. Even as mothers, as a good mother, it's okay to tell your kids, right now, I just sat. Give me a few minutes, then I'll get to what you need. So creating boundary. Mommy, Ima is tired right now. I need a few minutes. I'm thirsty right now. I need a few minutes. I need you to be more patient. I need you to tolerate and wait, and I will get to you unless it's an emergency. So the more we build these muscles, our kids can learn to understand it. If I never ask for help, my children will never know I need their help. Like the other day, I remember I said, why am I bringing the trash cans? And when my husband has a shiur or class all by myself. When we were parking the car, I told the kids, there's 5 trash cans outside. And if we work together as a team, I don't have to go back and forth. And they were like, oh, like who brings it in every night? I said, it's either me or Abba. It's me or your father. So from now on, it's empty. I'm here to help you. We're going to bring it in together. So if we don't talk about it, they don't even know how it's happening. So the more we involve our children, the more we let them know that conversation is painful. Please watch your tone of voice. I need you to say that with kindness. I need you to say that with caring. That was harsh to hear. So unless we point it out, it's going to continue. And this is part of enhancing our emotional intelligence. Respect, appreciation, gratitude, affection are essential in a healthy relationship. It's not luxury, it's not extra, it's essential. If you did not see it between your parents, do not make that an excuse to repeat it in your family. This is Natalie Zangon, also known as Mother Goose. Thank you for watching.